Action.
Hi guys, this is actually take two. We actually started taping this and the phone started ringing off the hook and we had to stop taping and restart it all over again just so we could take that call. Hello everybody, potato skins night, yay! I've been waiting for this night for a while. You will go crazy when you realize how easy this is. And we'll just start right out with, first of all, I want to say it's so cool because Tim and I are still eating our potatoes out of the garden. That's what these are. We have another crate and a half full of potatoes from our garden. So the first thing you do is you wash them. And I just have a great potato brush right here that I wash them with, one that I've used for years. And you just randomly go down your potato like this. This is how easy it is. I've already got some started from the first take. So you just randomly cut them like this. Different sizes. The big deal is, if you can see, I'm going to take a hunk from here. See how I'm picking up potato as I go? You don't want it to be huge either, but you don't want it to be just skim. You want a good amount on there. See what I'm doing? And you're just going to keep doing that. And I'm making such fun random sizes because, you don't want big, huge pieces, but you don't want to sit there and try to make it through tiny little pieces either. So, and then once we fill up this whole platter, I'll show you what the next step is. But the cool thing about making potato skins is that when you're making potato skins, you're actually prepping for 2 meals at a time. Because once this is done, you can see we still have potato. So what I do is I always keep my pan on the side, and I'm using the pan that my girlfriend Mary loves because she mentioned she loved this pan today, so I'm using it just for her. And you cut them up and you're going to boil ahead of time. You can boil these tonight if you want and have them set up in the refrigerator as cooked potatoes so you can use them tomorrow as fried potatoes. Or you can just put them in the refrigerator with water in them and boil them tomorrow so that you can make mashed potatoes out of them after they're boiled. There's a lot of things you can do. By the way, if you put them in the fridge and don't boil them till tomorrow, the biggest deal about doing that is please remember, because now you're all prepped, please remember to have water over the top of the potatoes. If any potato is sticking out of the water, it's going to turn brown. And you don't want to waste anything if you don't have to. So yeah, then once you've got your pan filled, then you would take, and I had in here, you can see it's on the thing, it was all melted butter. And I would sit here and every single one of these, and I'm just showing you the motion, but I really did. The one that's coming out of the oven right now had butter all over it. And I cook it for 1/2 an hour on 350 bake. 1/2 an hour. And what I do is I check them with a fork. And if they're fork ready, which these could probably use 5 more minutes. They still feel like they're a little bit hard. So I'm going to put them back in. I'm going to put the timer back on for 5 minutes. So we have a little bit of talking to do, and that's okay. I lost my train of thought, though. Oh, the big deal is don't use any glass that can't go under the broiler. Many a times people have made this in some sort of glass container thinking, oh, it can go in the oven and it's heat resistant. Make sure whatever pan you use can go under the broiler. That's a really huge deal here. So I tend to work with just metal of any sorts, and as you can see when I was in the oven here a minute ago, I have a stone, a pizza stone that I got from Pampered Chef, and I use that one all the time too. So that's the starting, the prep one part, and it's really easy. From there, we're going to take it out of the oven. In a couple of minutes, we're going to take the whole pan out of the oven. Then we're going to turn the oven from 350 bake, which you had it on. Remember, always start with 1/2 an hour and fork them. And you know what I mean by forking, because when you're making mashed potatoes, you fork them, and if the fork goes in smoothly, you know that they're done. Well, you want the same thing with these skins. You want to fork them, and you want to know that it'll go in there smoothly. So we're only a couple of minutes away from that happening here. And then we're going to put our toppings on them. But while we're waiting, because we have a couple of minutes, I was going to talk about the fact that yes, we're still using our potatoes from our garden. And I wanted to mention, if we're really enjoying these videos during gardening season, we can get back together and I can do some videos on how to do storage of vegetables as they come out of the garden, how to freeze peas, how to freeze tomatoes. I freeze everything. I don't can anymore. I don't do the whole process of the water bath and all that other stuff, which I know how to do, but I've got a big freezer now, and everything is so easy to freeze, and it comes out so wonderful, where you just take bags and you rip them open and you throw them in soup and you build the soup around a bag, that kind of thing. So there's no need of all that muss and fuss unless you don't have a freezer for canning. So that's how I store most of my stuff. So if you want to get back together for that kind of activity later on, that's absolutely wonderful. I also posted today a list of some of the things that we'll be cooking. I want mac and cheese. I got mac and cheese coming, shepherd's pie. I'm asking you, if you want to have something cooked, let me know. Like today I got this great text that said, hey, I love your cooking and it's a lot of fun, but you know what? We can't buy brownie mixes or cake mixes in the store anymore. Can you teach us how to make a homemade cake? Absolutely, we'll be doing that. We're gonna make our first cake on Friday because it's our cameraman Tim's birthday on Friday. So we'll be making his birthday cake on Friday. So that'll be our first cake. Tomorrow is going to be no bakes, so that'll be a nice little treat that you'll have as well. And then we'll go back to some of the meals like quiche. Quiche is on the list. Quiche is so much easier than you can even imagine. I used to think there was some mystery thing to make, and Lord, they're just so easy. You just have to have some heavy cream, and again, we improvise. If you don't have a cream, you can do it with half and half. There's different things you can do. So the big reason for doing these videos is to remember that you probably have a fantastic meal that you've never thought of, like potato skins, right in your house without running out and grabbing an ingredient or two, because these are things you usually have on your shelf. So I'm going to check these again right now. Oh yeah, we're fine. So this is how they come out, and you can see that they're quite glossy because they had butter on them, and see how they have a little bit of almost a yellow color to them because they were soaked in butter. So we're going to stop two things. Stop the timer, and we're also going to change. I'm going to take my rack, I'm going to move it up a little bit, just to one. Again, I'm so lucky. Down here we have our chicken that's baking for our dinner, so this is going to go off in another 8 minutes, our chicken. But up here is where our potato skins are going to go. And the rack's going up, and I'm going to put the oven on broil now. And I don't like to broil high because I've moved the thing up, because I like to control. I don't want it to suddenly burn. So I tend to take the low option. And there you go. So it's only going to take a couple of minutes to get up to its temperature. So while that's happening, let's put the fun on the top of our potato skins. And this is so simple. We're just going to go get globs, like literally globs, handful, whatever you want to call it, of cheese. Just tons. Tons, 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 tons. See all this wonderful cheese. And I'm the kind that goes to every corner. Just stick a ton on there because I'm sorry, I'm a butter and a cheese freak. And of course, that's two of the ingredients on here today. Butter on the potatoes and cheese right here. There we go. And isn't that beautiful? Look at that, completely coated. And the other thing, I always do bacon bits. And we're fortunate to have the bigger bacon bits that come from Costco. So they are really going to be good. I've had the ones that come from Walmart before. And they're just tiny. These are nice and big, as you can see. They're worth the money. I think it's like $14 or something for this bag. I never get to Costco. Thankfully, I have a handful of friends that say, hey, I'm going to Costco. Do you need something? Well, a handful. I got a couple, not a handful. A couple of friends that say, I'm going to Costco. Do you need anything? I'm like, yes, bring me 3 bags of this. I use one right away, and I put 2 in the freezer because they freeze very well. I'm such a user of the freezer. A tip for as well, if you're a big butter user like me, wait till it goes on sale. Buy, like I go to Walmart and they're bundled for 2. It's $5.88 for 2 of them when normally they're $3.99 or more a piece. And I put them in the freezer. They freeze indefinitely, butter does. So I really live out of my freezers, to be honest with you. And today we've decided that we wanted to put some onions on here because my man loves his onions. So you can top this with anything you want. Some people say done. I just love to have the potatoes, cheese, and this is authentic. This is when I worked many years ago at J.W. Ryan's back in the 80s. This is how we made them, and this was all we did. There was never anything more than this, and they're awesome. But now people are experimenting. They're putting onions on them. You can put peppers on them. You can add some chili. You can add some hot. You can add whatever you want. So this is where it gets fun. Go to your refrigerator. What do you have? You know, what do you want to add extra? You want to do authentic? Just leave it the way it is. You want to have just a little bit more fun? Do what I'm doing right now. I'm doing it with onions because whenever you're around Tim, you just can't have enough onions. So that's what we're doing. You could put black olives on here. You could, that makes me think, you know what we should do one of these days? Homemade nachos. We should do that. I should add that to my list, huh? Because it's not on my list. Homemade nachos would be a blast, wouldn't it? I love hearing your comments, by the way. I got, I think it's Alice that said to me, Paula, it's so much fun. It's like I'm spending every night with you in the kitchen. And that makes me feel good because that's the idea of this. It's not just, oh, I know how to cook, you don't, or anything like that. What it is that we're sharing. We're sharing time together, and it's taking your mind off of something that's going on, which is what somebody said to me the other day is, you know, when I'm watching you, I don't even think about what's going on around me. This is our time together. And then she said, I've got all the rest of the day to get back to it. So that makes me feel good. I've kind of put a lot more than I normally would of onions on here, but as you can see, my cameraman Tim is grabbing at them while I'm cooking. So I know in his world, there's never too much. There's never too many. And literally, what do you want to say, sir?
I kept my grabbing out of the camera.
Oh, I thought you were grabbing and they could see you.
No.
Aha, I outed him. And from here, we're just going to stick it right in the oven. And again, I brought my rack up one, but I kept my broil on low. It's going to take a couple of minutes, not very long. It's a very quick thing. While we're waiting for it to come out, one thing I forgot to get out was, well, I won't get it now because it doesn't matter. I forgot to grab one of the items you might need as a ingredient is you like to have sour cream on the side. Some people have sour cream. Believe it or not, some people like yogurt. I've heard of it. I think it's kind of ew. I know. Tim goes, ew. Some people like that little sweetness with this. Depending on what you're using for toppings, too, that may almost be really cool, but not for me. I really like to have sour cream on them. And as you can see, we've got a timer for, so they're almost going to be done at exactly the same time. The chicken and the I'll bring the chicken up so you can see it, too. The chicken and the potato skins. So tomorrow, while we're waiting for the potato skins to come out, tomorrow we are going to be doing, and I know most of this recipe by heart, but let me just make sure I kind of at least tell you what the ingredients are going to be so that you can, I will post it like I always do, saying tomorrow is this and the ingredients are. But tomorrow's going to be, Jordan's going to love this. My nephew Jordan, these are his favorite, his whole family's like that actually. They all Jones for them. It's going to be no bakes. So the ingredients, in case you're in on wanting to cook with me tomorrow, there's going to be sugar, there's going to be cocoa, milk, a stick of butter, a pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of salt, and then about a third a cup of peanut butter. And my secret thing is I never use smooth peanut butter. I always use crunchy, because I have that extra layer. It gives you one more layer of a flavor. You're getting crunchy peanut butter instead of smooth, and you're getting those nuts in there. And the other thing is I don't just use crunchy peanut butter. I use honey roasted Peter Pan that's crunchy. So you got a little bit of that sweetness from the honey roast as well. See, they're coming along. You can see the browning. Can you come and see it, honey? See the browning? They're not ready yet, but see the brownings on the edges? We got another minute or two, and it's that quick. The quick oatmeal, I use what's on hand. Sometimes I don't use the quick oatmeal. Sometimes I use the long cooking one because I just like they're bigger flakes, and so it tastes a little bit differently. But when I'm making them for friends and family that I know love them the regular way, I use the quick 1 minute oatmeal. And there's always a teaspoon of vanilla in there. So those are the ingredients you're going to need for tomorrow for the no bakes. And on Saturday, Friday, I think we should all vote for what Tim's cake will be. I could tell you what his favorite cake is, but I'm not going to, because that would make you vote one way or another. But in the truck, we Took a nice little ride just for sanity tonight, and got it some air. And I asked him what he wanted, and I said I can make anything. I can make. He said, well, what can you make? I said I can make chocolate. I can make vanilla. I can make strawberry. I can make carrot. And he's like, oh, we'll just do chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate. So I don't know. Let's hear from you. What do you think we should make for a cake? And remember, strawberry, you don't. That was a wonderful trick Lisa Maynard taught me a couple years ago when I was in daycare and we were baking, and I didn't have any strawberries. And my nephew, it was my grandson's birthday, and he wanted a strawberry cake. And I was like, what am I going to do? And she goes, hey, open your strawberry jam and throw it in there. So you just make a vanilla cake and swirl in strawberry jam. There's so many cool things you can do with everything on your shelf already. You don't have to say, no, I can't make that till you've exhausted your possibilities. Guys, see, it's almost there. Look at this. It's so cool. So I'm just going to give it another minute. In the meantime, I'm going to pull the chicken off from the bottom because that appears to be done. I have to turn that timer off because it drives Tim insane and he starts to go crazy when he hears it going because it keeps going off. That's our chicken. What's for dinner tonight is our chicken. And this was really simple. I just used like a shake and bake tonight. But you can do the same thing if you have any breadcrumbs. I tend to buy the seasoned breadcrumbs because you can control what goes in them from there on out. But this was like a shake and bake, and I just took my chicken and I ran it through. Well, not ran it through, but I kept rolling it into an egg, and then I put it on. I put the shake and bake type of stuff on there. I think it's called oven fry. That's what it's called, oven fry. And I just cooked them for 40 to 45 minutes, and they're all fantastic. And for our vegetable tonight, we're just having what's left of our squash. I had a Hubbard squash that I cut and cooked last fall, and I had it in the freezer. And I pulled it out of the freezer a couple nights ago, put it in a saucepan. I added butter and maple syrup to it, and I warmed it back up to the temperature you should be eating, and it was absolutely amazing. So that's what we're having is the rest of that squash. And here you go. What do you think, people? Pretty cool, huh? It's getting hot, so I'm going to bring it over here. I fear that I don't want to go any longer, and I'm worried that the middle isn't brown enough, but at the same time, see how I'm starting to get something here on the edges? I don't want that happening. So see how perfect it is? And I mean, look, it's gorgeous. So that's what's for dinner at our house tonight. Potato skins, chicken, and the rest of the squash. I'll see you tomorrow for no bakes, and I will put the ingredients back up again so you'll know what they are. The ingredients again to this potato skin is so simple, just any potato, as long as you wash it like crazy on the outside and cut it. You saw how thick it was, like not even an inch, half an inch. It was very small, you could see. And butter on it first before you put it in the oven, and then fork ready, and then any cheese. It doesn't, I'm a mozzarella freak. I always use mozzarella. You can use any of your favorite cheeses on the top, and that controls even more flavor. You can put more flavor layers on it with different flavored cheeses. And then you could get crazy with some of the toppings. I use bacon bits and onions, but you could, black olives, you could do anything you want. So have fun with it, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.